What's up, truth seekers, and welcome to Truth Tracker Uncensored. For those who are new to Truth Tracker, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/flightlife. Join Flight Life as we travel the world in search of interesting people, places, and things. Also home to the Truth Tracker Investigation series, where we not only travel and explore, we also investigate the unknown, find answers to the unanswerable, and discuss and debate the latest news and happenings around the world. So guys, are you ready for the truth? What's up, guys? Welcome back to Truth Chat Uncensored, and I am currently sitting on the podcast with B. B, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Fate.
What's up, B? How you been?
I've been pretty good. How about yourself?
I've been going through a lot of stuff lately with just stress and anxiety, and I just I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and for the first time my doctor put me on anxiety meds.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Yeah, I've always been against that though.
It gets better. It gets better, and it does get easier. Like, I do understand what you're saying, like being against it, because for years I was against it, but I was like, I will not take medicine. It will not control my life. Da 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 da. And at one point, I sat down. I was like, damn, I need medicine.
Yeah, like my biggest problem is like social anxiety. And like I know that sounds crazy because of all the stuff I do. I'm in videos.
That's what I was going to say. You do so much.
Yeah, I know, but believe it or not, the worst anxiety I have is social anxiety. Like walking into a situation where it's just people I don't know a lot of times, and it's actually weird because I'll even walk into situations where people know I do all the things I do, like shoot videos and all that, and they want to approach me like because they like what I do. But my anxiety is like I don't approach them well. Not mean or anything. I'm just standoffish. It's probably me judging myself.
No, I totally get that. That's how I am. I mean, I have anxiety going into a Walmart.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I freak out. Like, I can't go in the stores that are overcrowded. Like, I have to go to stores at certain times of the day because I know they're not going to be packed or crowded or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way as that. Like when I was just recently on the movie set stuff, dude, I had panic attacks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know this sounds like I'm a bitch because I'm a man and I shouldn't be having panic attacks and stuff.
Oh no, you should. Like, there is nothing, and that's the stigma with the world today, is that everybody thinks that because you're a guy, you're not allowed to have anxiety. You're not allowed to have a mental illness. You have to walk around like everything is peachy keen, and it's not.
Right. And when I was on the movie sets, there was times where like my anxiety got so bad, big that like my vision got blurry, that it reached the peak of me ever experiencing anxiety.
Oh, you had like panic attack.
Yeah, like I've never had that situation like that. Like literally, you couldn't tell on the outside. I don't think anybody noticed it, but it was like I'll tell you a story. Like one of the days I was on the movie set, I didn't know what I was walking into. Like I've been on this, for anybody who don't know, I was recently on a movie set for a TV show coming out on Paramount called Lioness. And it features Zoe Saldana, which is the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy, the green girl. She's huge movie star. And then and one day while I was there, they had Nicole Kidman on the set. And so I've been a background actor for this show that they're filming in Baltimore it went on for 6 months. They kept hiring me. I kept getting lucky, like, damn, okay, I'll just keep doing this. So I kept traveling with them around Maryland, and they just kept hiring me. So then, well, the first time I walked on the set, which was really weird, was they were filming this scene at a bar, and that the scene was that these group of gangsters walk into the bar, and they walk across the bar, and then they sit down at these tables and chairs with bottled drink service at the tables. And then later, Zoe Saldana walks into the bar, and she's like meeting with these gangsters because she's like an undercover agent. And so they had me stand with this guy, this really cool guy I met named Floyd, and we're standing there, and we're like 10 feet from where the camera follows the gangsters into the bar and all that. So then they come up to us, and they're like, they tell Floyd, they say, "Hey, Floyd, when the gangsters get to this point, you turn that direction." And I'm looking at Floyd like, why are they telling him that? And he actually asked them, he's like, "Why am I turning that direction?" And they're like, "Oh, because the guys who are coming in are talking about y'all." This is the first day I ever been on a movie set. And I'm like, what are they talking about, Floyd? What? They're talking about us. He's like, "What do you mean?" He asked them again. He's like, "What do you mean they're talking about us?" And they're like, they're like, the guys coming in are saying bad things about you guys. And I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? So that was the first weird scenario. So then after that, that was my first day. I got hired for 3 days to be on the set. So then I got hired over 6 months. So on the last set that I was on with them, they did something kind of weird. They contacted me, and they were like, "Hey, will you be a server? Do you have experience at it?" And I'm like, "Server? I've never been a server in my life." But of course I say, "Yeah, I got server experience. My family did that." Of course I say that. Right? Yeah, I can do that.
Sure, I will figure this out as I go along with it.
You're right. So then I get there, and it's 2 days of filming downtown Baltimore. And I get there, and it's this little tiny restaurant with like 4 rows of tables. And the scene, and there's only like 4 or 2, there's 2 servers working, and then like 3 bartenders. And so I walk into this scenario, and I'm like, damn, this is a lot more close quarters than anything I've ever been on a film set doing. This is different. So so the scene was Zoe Saldana is sitting down with Nicole Kidman. So to top it off, on this little tiny small set, this is the day Nicole Kidman comes, and I'm a server walking around the restaurant. And so they're doing the scene with Zoe and Nicole Kidman sitting at a table where I kind of get close to. So how it works is they follow one of the other servers into the bar. The camera is following a server into the bar and up to the table where Nicole and Zoe are sitting at. Well, it just so happens that what they wanted to do was they had me in mind, and they wanted me to cross the camera. So the camera's going to walk directly at me. And then as I get to the camera, I'm supposed to walk past it. And then the camera's going to turn and look at Zoe and Nicole Kidman. I'm literally standing right next to them the whole time. So that's the day I got the worst anxiety. On top of it, if anybody's a filmmaker out there or shoot, one of the tricks to shooting video today is to use haze machines or fog machines. And the reason why they do that is because 4K video, if you ever notice, sometimes when you're watching a high quality 4K video or 8K, even 8K and stuff like that, it's really sharp. And if you think about it, back in the day when they shot on film, it had that beautiful look, but it wasn't sharp. It was actually, there was even noise in the video, like the little speckles and stuff like that. And
Yeah, the little graininess.
yeah, and it gave the film a look that 4K really can't replicate today. So how they get that sharpness to dull down is they'll use haze machines and fog machines, and they'll fog out the area, and the camera while it's filming will actually get that film look. Anyway, so that's a little history on film cameras. Anyway, so they're running these haze machines in this little tiny ass bar, and it's hard to breathe. I'm standing next to Nicole Kidman and Zoe Saldana. Damn, my ear just started ringing. That was weird.
It could be the bells on my door.
Yeah. And so, like I said, in the scene, there was multiple scenes I already filmed, but this was towards the end of the day. They throw this on me. The director himself, B, comes up to me. The director doesn't talk to extras or background people. It's always
Right.
like a person that handles the background people.
Right.
Yeah, so the director himself comes up to me and says, look, we're going to do a time shot. We want you to cross the other server guy as he's coming in. The camera's going to be following him. You have to walk at a certain pace. I have to pour drinks at this table, turn, and I have to walk at a fast pace directly towards the camera, and then I have to turn, and the camera's going to see me the whole time, and then turn to the table. Now, it's going to be interesting. This show isn't out yet, and I'm telling this story. So when this show comes out, look, they could have cut the whole scene, you don't know. So I might be telling you stuff you may never see, but you might see it. Who knows? I don't know. But so I walk directly at the camera, and I got to do this time shot. So I'm doing it, and they can't get the time right. So in one of the shots, the director's yelling across the room at me and the other server. He's not being mean, but he's directing us. So I turn around to look at him, and everyone's looking at me now. Like, I'm looking back at Zoe Saldana. She's looking while I'm being directed. Now, how weird is that? I turn to look at the director, and Nicole Kidman's looking at me. Like the whole scene's around me, B. And I'm not saying that as like a self-conscious thing or like blowing. I'm not trying to like make myself look big or anything. I'm telling the story.
No, and I have anxiety for you right now.
Yeah, like this is
I
very
have anxiety for something that you already went through.
Yeah, like this is a very strange moment. And then you got to figure, I'm not on film sets like that. Like, I would love to be behind the camera. I'm only doing background work because I want to work on behind the camera. I'm not an actor. I'm doing it just to meet people and stuff. So here I am now. I'm standing before a Paramount director who's directing me, with Zoe Saldana, Nicole Kidman watching me, and everyone else who's working on this Paramount film. Same people who work with Sylvester Stallone, all this. I'm thrust into this. I've never been on a film set. I've only been on a film set up to that point 6 other times. And it's the same film set, Lioness. Never been on any other film set. So, needless to say, in the moment, my anxiety was so bad, I was blurry vision. Like, my vision was blurry. It's like right before you get in a fight, and your heart gets up so bad that you're like in a blackout mode almost. I'm like that. I'm noble. I'm like that.
And this is going to sound really, really weird, but for our listeners, whenever you feel like that, eat something with sugar in it.
Yeah.
I swear to you, pop something with sugar in it in your mouth real quick, and it will make that feeling go away. So where you will not pass out. Your vision will come back. You don't feel like you're going to pass out. I don't know why, but just pop something with sugar in your mouth.
And I know I'm going to try that. I know I sound like such a bitch, but I'm telling the truth. This is a mental illness that I've always dealt with all my life, that I just have social anxiety. So then, but see, the reason why I'm there is because I challenge it, though. I took it on.
That's good. That's like really good.
Yeah. It was
I
scary as
challenge
hell.
myself anytime that I go into a grocery store or just a store in general. That's me challenging myself. But
Right.
I want to try to go to the movies. I'm scared of movie theaters. So that's my next one, is to try to go to a movie theater and actually sit through a movie.
Yeah. I love the movie theaters. That's one of my favorite spots to be. But I get the same anxiety going into grocery stores and stuff. Be the same type of anxiety. Standing in lines for
I have to look for their back room, for like the doors that go into the back of the store, just so I know where the loading docks are, because that's where I'm gonna run.
damn.
Like, I have to know exactly how to get out of this store. And I wasn't like that before I had kids. It took me to have kids, dude, to be like that. Where I'm like, okay, I have to be able to get my kids out.
Is it because of what's going on in the world, you think, or is it because of anxiety that you've developed?
It's, I think it's the way the world is.
Yeah,
Because I was always like a go-getter. I was never scared of anything. Like, I had no fear. And then I had kids. And then I started watching the news more. And then just over the years, shootings at schools and this, that, and the third. Like, I'm terrified every day when I send my kids to school.
yeah, I can only imagine. I couldn't imagine having kids.
Like, I'm so excited, dude, when the school bus pulls up and they get off the bus. I'm like, yes, the day is done. They're with me.
Yeah, the
Like, I
world,
can control, like, I can honestly control something not happening, but the fact that they're with me, I feel like I'm more in control. And I think that's what it is. It's when you feel like you're not in control of something, that's that anxiety right there.
see, I think at times I have anxiety where it's that based, but then a lot of what I think mine's because I've always had anxiety since I was young. So I feel like it's gonna make me sound like a bitch again, but like I was just talking to my mom about this. My anxieties developed from being shy when I was a kid, and I was always a shy kind of kid. So like, I can't believe I'm talking about this anyway. But so like, I would walk into a scenario and I wouldn't talk. I was not very talkative, and it got even worse when I did music because a lot of the music stuff I did was me sitting in a room working on it by myself. So I didn't really go out as much. I'm still doing that in a way with videos and stuff. I don't go out like that, and I feel like my anxieties built up from that young age of being shy to it became a fear. And then over time, that fear actually developed into a mental illness, with which I got older. Now I'm fighting it because now I understand it and I'm not young and I see like I'm not normal. I should be able to do these normal that other people are doing that I can't do. So now I'm dealing with the repercussions of things that I built into my own mind from a young age. And I'm trying to beat them. And that's kind of what I told the doctor when I talked to him. I didn't even never tell my doctor I had anxiety because like I said, I don't want no medicine for it. I want to fight it. But I've been fighting it now for so long that it's a mental illness, dude. I can't win. Like sometimes I can win, like going to the movie set that day. I can win and overcome it, but I fought it the whole day. But that doesn't mean I beat it. Next scenario that comes along, I'm going to fight it again. Like, I want to beat this. Welcome back, guys. So to continue the story anyway, so that was the first day that my anxiety really kicked in. On the second day, what was really weird was I was supposed to be a restaurant customer, and the night before I was to report the next morning, they all of a sudden messaged me and said, "Hey, we're going to turn you into a server." And I told them, I said, "How can I be a server when I was already a server at the first place. And they said, no, we need servers, so you're just going to be a server. So I said, okay, whatever. So the next morning, I showed up there, and they put me in a server uniform. And then the director and the AD, first AD, which is assistant director of this huge Paramount production, they knew who I was at that point. They're like, we can't see you or have you on camera. You were on camera yesterday. And I was like, well, I don't know. This is what I was told. So they're like, we're gonna hide you in the back of the restaurant, in the second restaurant, which is a bigger restaurant. And they hide me in the back. But the thing is, so I'm a server going through the back part of the restaurant. Well, in the scene, Zoe Saldana argues with somebody, and then she storms out of the restaurant. Well, she storms out of the restaurant right past where I'm walking. So the first time it happened, I didn't even know, and me and Zoe ran into each other. And she literally, in her scene, she's supposed to be angry and pissed off. So she literally like shoved me out of the way as she walked by me. And she's dressed in like a business suit, and she looks like a spy. So I didn't even know that was going to happen. And then after that, I could work around so she wouldn't have to shove me. But
Right.
so that whole day plays out like that. The camera wasn't following her out or anything, so I see my face. But it was weird how I'm interacting with Zoe again. I'm walking in the opposite direction of Zoe. Most of the scenes I was in, they had me doing that for some reason. And like I said, none of the director does, and the AD doesn't talk to background. They were talking to me the entire time. So anyway, to wrap up this crazy story, so Nicole Kidman's in this restaurant too. So the whole we film all day. And then in the last hour, they say all the backgrounds can leave and go back to base camp, they call it, except for the waitress, staff, and servers who work in the restaurant. So we sit in the restaurant for like 2 hours. I'm falling asleep. I'm like, they ain't going to film with me nothing today. Suddenly, the first AD walks up and says, Chris, wakes me up. I literally have my head down on the table in the back. She said, Chris. I said, what? What's up? She said, we need you for this scene. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And they're calling me by name. I'm like, oh, okay. So I jump up and I follow the AD. She literally walks me directly up to Zoe. So the scene is that Zoe's leaning up against a wall by the kitchen, and she's talking on the phone. And it's a really cramped space. So they position me 5 feet from Zoe. And she's leaning up against the wall. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. Right to my left, a foot or two away, is the director sitting in a chair. So it's like a triangle. I'm on the right, director's on the left, Zoe's leaning on the wall directly in front of me. So I walk in the room and they're like, all right, Zoe's going to rehearse some lines with me, the director. Chris, what I want you to do is when I say action, you're going to walk towards Zoe. Then at the last second, you're going to turn right, go into the kitchen, act like you're grabbing some food, and then walk back out. So the camera is filming from the director's point of view, and it's moving in on a close-up of Zoe. So what they wanted was a male server, but they didn't have none because that's why they changed my role. They changed my role because they couldn't find male servers that short notice. So when they called me to do this scene, they had to choose me because I was like the only male server. So I got lucky here. So they're like, all right, Chris, we don't want to see your face because we've already seen your face. The director's telling me this.
Right.
And then they had a couple backgrounds sitting at the tables right there, and they're like congratulating me, whispering. They're like, Chris, damn, man, you just keep getting these roles, da-da-da. And I'm like, dude. So I'm having anxiety. This is another anxiety moment and stuff like that. And so I had to do this scene with Zoe where I walk by her 30 times. So for at least, I'd say 2 to 3 hours, I had to stand next to Zoe. We're talking one of the biggest actresses of our time.
Right.
So when I was standing there, okay, and I would walk, I do the walk to the kitchen and all that, and then I come back. So when I walk back out of the kitchen, I literally just stand right back in my spot. The camera just can't see me. So I'm watching the scene and Zoe the entire time. I just walk in the kitchen, I walk back out, but I walk right by her. So the whole time I'm standing there, my heart is beating like 1,000 miles per hour. My anxiety is so bad that my lip is shaking. And I've never told anybody this kind of personal stuff publicly like this in my life because it's embarrassing. But my anxiety is so high from I have the real, you can look this director up online. He was with the girl for a while. His girlfriend was do you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I saw some of it.
You know, shit, what's her name? So the girl from Game of Thrones that marries Tomlin, who almost becomes the queen. Hold on one second. So the girl, her name's Marjorie Tyrell. Her real name is damn it, why doesn't it show it? Marjorie. So her real name is, I know you probably know her, Natalie Dormer. That's her name. So the director that I'm talking to his girlfriend is Natalie Dormer, which was one of the bigger actors in Game of Thrones. This director is highly known, directed mad stuff. And I'm talking to him directly. I gotta follow all his directions. So anyway, staring at Zoe and then having him right to my left. Can you imagine how much anxiety that is?
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like I said, I'm not an actor. Like, I do this to meet people and get behind and stuff like that. By the way, I just booked a contract with XFL. I'm gonna be doing a parabolic mic on the side of ESPN XFL game coming up on March 27th, which I'm mad excited for.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and that comes from leads, that comes from leads of working on the Lioness set. I met people, and now I'm finding these jobs. So that's why I do it.
Right. It literally it was a doorway.
Right. It's a doorway.
It literally opened, and now it's just opening up more and more doors for you. And that's what people don't understand. Like it's people sit there and they're like, "Oh, I want to do this for a living, or I want to follow this dream, but I can't. I'm like, yes, you can, but you just got to know where to start.
Right. Or you.
It's
a
not.
lot of people, a lot of people won't even start. You know?
Right. They want to just hand it to them.
Exactly. And
it's like, nah, you got to work for it.
Right. And then a lot of people just give into life. Like, a lot of people, they realize later in life, like, I notice it, not to be sexist or anything, but I notice it a lot with women, that when they're younger, their thoughts are to meet a guy, have kids, settle down.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you realize how much you boxed yourself in by that thought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You held yourself back from so much, and you sacrificed so much.
Right, because you didn't know
and
what it is.
And that's that's personally coming from somebody that, once I hit 18, I wasn't out for the clubbing and stuff because I already did it.
Right.
Once I hit 21, I wasn't out for the bars and stuff and this, that, and the third, the drink and all this, because I did it before I was 21. Right. So by the time I was 21, I was like, you know what? I want to meet somebody. I want to settle down. I'm done. I already did the partying scene. Now I'm bored. I'm ready just to move on with life. And like I said, that's coming from somebody that, settled down young. I mean, I had my son when I was 22.
Yeah. Well, my family, like my sisters and brothers, they all had kids at 18. Like, that's the family I grew from. I'm a
Right.
idol in my family. To not have kids at my age is amazing.
I mean, that's how it is for me. I made it furthest in my family. I was that I made it that long before I had kids.
Yeah, and like on top of that, on top of that point, um, it's just like when you get older, you realize like I think a lot of people just have kids because they don't know what to do. It's it's like it's like a lot of people don't just have kids because they want. Well, I guess a lot do have kids because they want to
I
have kids.
mean,
But
I wanted kids. Like I wanted more than, and like it's horrible to say, like I wanted more than 3 kids, but medically I couldn't have any more. Like I had to fight for my last one. But at the same time, years went by, and I actually did sit there and be, and I was, damn, like what exactly have I done? And I'm like, nothing. I'm a mom. So
right,
it was to where like you forget about yourself.
exactly. I think a lot of people don't realize, not talking about you, there are people who want to just have kids and settle down. That's their life. But I think a lot of people don't realize that when they get to like 18, they're especially ones who didn't have a great childhood and didn't go to school and dropped out and stuff like that. They get to an age
Right.
where they're confused.
Mhm.
All they can think of at that time is I'll just meet somebody and have kids because they don't know what else to do. But
Right.
when you get to, I guess, coming from my perspective, when you get to
And
like 30 and you don't have kids, you realize like, damn, there's so much
right.
I can do because I don't have kids now, where a lot of people never even got that chance. You know,
Right.
and neither is a bad road. Neither is a bad road. It's just I don't know. Like,
In the aspect of both of it, either way you look at it, each side is missing out on something.
right,
Because I straight say with people that don't have kids, or they choose not to, like that's their choice and everything. But I sit there and I'm like, damn, you don't know what you're missing.
right. Like
Because they
I didn't have
entertaining, like they're straight entertainment.
Yeah, like I thought I would have kids. I was with the same woman for 10 years. I thought I'd have kids, but for me it just happened that way. Wasn't nothing it
Right.
wasn't like I was against it, but I just a lot of my family and I like there's just I don't think a lot of people, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of people who have kids just because they don't know what to do. And it kind of
Yeah.
probably goes back to anxiety a lot because
Mhm.
everyone's trying to fit in with tribalism in a way. Oh, my mom had kids at this age, so I should have kids at this age.
Mhm.
And
To where everybody looks at you when you're older, if you don't have kids or you're not married yet, they look at you like something's wrong with you, and I'm like, nah,
right,
because
but
take it
that
like I was married, but I'm also now separated, getting ready to go through a divorce.
yeah, I was basically married. I was with the same person for 10 years. I wasn't married, but I was definitely pretty much married.
Right. Well, because I do want to say too, like in certain states, it's a thing that if you're with the same person for a certain amount of time, you're technically married.
Yeah, like
And I want
it,
to say it's about 10 years. You're technically married to that person.
and when that relationship ended, we'll probably wrap up in about 3 minutes. Well, on this segment, and then we're gonna come back, guys, and then we're gonna talk about this controversial video that me and B been discussing that we feel like we could really inform people on a different point of view of this video and maybe try to enlighten the world to some things because things are crazy that are happening in the world, and just discussing them like this in an open dialogue, and you guys being able to hear it, who knows, maybe we can change something or inspire people to do better. But anyway, it's just like I don't know, I forgot my point. What'd you say again, bro? You said that people get married at 10 years. Oh yeah, so I remember what I was gonna say now. So
yeah, basically when you're together with somebody for at least 10 years, I consider you're married to that person, whether or not you have a ring, whether or not you have a piece of paper. Because that's all marriage is a piece of paper and a reason for the government to be in your business.
yeah. And what I was getting at too is my anxiety increased tenfold after that relationship, and especially the way it ended the last year, and how we didn't get along, and how she abused me in a lot of ways that I'm not going to talk about, but she really abused me emotionally in a lot of ways that I already had anxiety when she met me. And the fact that I had someone who I trusted more than anyone in this world just abused me that way and lied to me in ways, that completely crushed my anxiety. That made it 10 times worse.
Oh yeah, because now you walk around most likely with PTSD.
Yeah.
And it makes life even harder now.
Yeah, I haven't dated probably I haven't dated since her, really. And that was like 5 years ago, babe.
I was gonna say dating is the worst.
Yeah.
Like it truly is. Like I met my boyfriend by accident.
Yeah.
Pure accident. I was still with my husband. And I met my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But before anything happened, we were friends. Right. So we at least got to know each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have to go. Yeah. That's the main thing. You got to get to know people.
Yeah. 6 months after a 10-year relationship, my ex was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, so it's just great. Anyway, to close off, because we're coming up now on the end of this segment, Big. I really like how we started this dialogue about anxiety, because I know people who followed me for a long time listening to the podcast. We usually talk and discuss the latest debatable things going on in the world, or make videos on it. But I really want to expand into anxiety, because also B is going to be going with me at times too, doing like paranormal investigations and stuff like that. And even in videos, I want to bring up how anxiety affects me, and B, like, she has anxiety too. So while doing these things, we're overcoming our anxieties. That's the whole point behind Flight Life. Flight Life is to get out from the 9-to-5 grind, overcome your anxieties, and live your life, and try to find things that inspire you and make you do good each and every day. And that's what I really want to start bringing into Flight Life, is my own personal experiences with anxiety and mental illness.
And so, I mean, I'm sorry, Faith, but my biggest thing too is that life's too short,
right,
to sit there and to think about it one day and be like, man, I never got to do this because I was too scared. Man, I never got to do that. I never got to do that. Just do it.
Exactly.
No matter how scared you are, just do it. I'm terrified of rides, but I take my kids to amusement parks and guarantee mommy has to get on at least a ride or two.
Okay. Exactly.
And I'm not happy. I'm not happy, but the whole time I'm smiling like, please get me off of this.
Right. Or look at me when we're doing paranormal investigations. The only reason we're doing it is because we want to know, do ghosts really exist? I'm scared as hell of if I ever saw and met a ghost. but I'm doing it for scientific purposes and because it's an adventure.
Right.
It gets me out of the house. I get to go see cool places. Like, yeah,
Right.
I get to meet new people. It's awesome. And explorers. All that. I love all that stuff. Not just because you see cool ass places, but because you get to meet people and you get to interact with the world. And like you said, just do it. Just get over that anxiety and just do it. All right, B. I guess we'll wrap up this segment. Is there anything you want to close out with before we go to break? And then we'll be right back with you guys, and we're going to discuss this next subject coming up. And it's a crazy subject.
My biggest thing is just thank you everybody for y'all support and keep listening to us.
Definitely, because we're going to start doing these podcasts more and more often. Me and B love doing these audio podcasts. We can focus directly on talking and not videos or nothing else. It's awesome. So I guess that'll close it out. We're going to head to break, guys, and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned in here to Truth Tracker Uncensored. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/flightlife. We'll be right back with you guys.